Have you ever reached a point in life where everything seemed lost? Where the world around you felt heavy, and the only thing left to hold on to was a tiny spark of hope? Tonight, I want to share with you a story of a man who had nothing, absolutely nothing, no wealth, no comfort, not even the certainty of tomorrow. And yet, it was hope, and hope alone, that carried him through the darkest valley of his life. His name was Yusuf. He lived in a small village surrounded by dry fields, the kind where rain was a rare guest, and the soil had long forgotten the taste of water. Life for him was not easy. He was a laborer, earning just enough each day to put bread on the table for his wife and young son. But one cruel year, the village was struck by drought. Crops died, work vanished. And for Yusuf, every sunrise brought with it the same haunting question: how will I feed my family today? One evening, Yusuf sat outside his crumbling mud house. The sun had dipped behind the hills, leaving the sky painted in deep shades of red and gold. His little boy tugged at his sleeve, whispering, "Baba, I'm hungry." Yusuf's heart broke. He had nothing to give. No bread, no rice, not even a crumb. He looked into his son's innocent eyes, filled with trust. And in that moment, he felt smaller than he had ever felt before. That night, while his wife and child slept, Yusuf stared at the ceiling, tears rolling silently. He whispered a prayer: "God, give me strength. Don't let me fall apart." He had no money, no opportunity, no clear path forward. And yet, deep inside, a faint voice whispered, "Don't give up. Tomorrow might be different." That whisper was hope, fragile, almost invisible, but it was there. The next morning, he decided he couldn't sit still any longer. He walked miles to the nearest town, searching for work. Shop to shop, door to door, he begged for even the smallest task. Most people shook their heads. Some turned him away without a word. By sunset, his legs ached, his throat was dry, and his stomach empty. But when he thought of his son waiting at home, he clenched his fists and said to himself, "I will not stop. Tomorrow, I will try again." Days turned into weeks. Each day, Yusuf returned home with barely enough to buy a single piece of bread. Some days, with nothing at all. And yet, he kept moving. Because hope, that invisible thread, pulled him forward. One day, as he sat, exhausted by the roadside, an old man approached him. The man's clothes were simple, his beard long, and his eyes kind. He asked, "Why do you look so defeated, my son?" Yusuf shared his story: the hunger, the drought, the endless search for work. The old man listened quietly, then smiled and said, "Your struggle is hard, but never forget no night lasts forever. Keep walking, and dawn will find you." Those words struck something deep in Yusuf. It wasn't money, it wasn't food, but it was fuel. Fuel for his hope. The next morning, as Yusuf wandered the town again, he noticed a construction site. Workers were lifting bricks, mixing cement, building walls under the scorching sun. He gathered courage and approached the foreman. "Please," he said, "give me a chance. I'll work harder than anyone." The foreman looked him up and down. He was thin, tired, and clearly weak. But something in his eyes, something unbreakable, convinced the foreman to say, "Fine, prove yourself." That day, Yusuf worked like never before. His hands blistered, his back ached, sweat drenched his clothes, but he didn't stop. He lifted, carried, and pushed until his body screamed. And at the end of the day, the foreman handed him a small bundle of coins. Yusuf held them tight. It wasn't much, but to him, it was life itself. That night, for the first time in weeks, his son ate until his little stomach was full. And when Yusuf watched him smile, he whispered to himself, hope was right. Dawn did find me, but the journey didn't end there. Yusuf kept showing up at that construction site, day after day. The foreman noticed his determination and slowly began giving him more responsibility. Weeks turned into months, and Yusuf went from a desperate laborer to a trusted worker. One evening, as the crew sat around eating, the foreman said, "Yusuf, I wish all my men had your spirit. You remind me that even the hardest times can break someone who refuses to let go of hope." Years later, Yusuf was no longer the man who once wept under the weight of despair. He had saved enough to rent a small shop, selling tools and supplies. His son, now a young boy, stood proudly beside him, helping customers. The drought had long ended, but its memory lived on. Not as a scar, but as a reminder of what carried them through the strength of hope. And so, when villagers came to Yusuf seeking advice during hard times, he always said, "I had nothing once, nothing but hope. And that hope kept me alive until opportunity found me." Hold on, even when the world tells you it's useless. Because hope is not useless, sits the seed of every miracle. My friend, maybe you're going through something heavy right now. Maybe life feels unfair, cruel, or impossible. Maybe you don't see a way forward. If so, remember Yusuf's story. Hope doesn't erase pain, but it gives you the strength to take one more step. And often, that one more step is what leads you to the dawn you've been waiting for. So let me leave you with this. When hope is all you have, it is still enough. If this story touched your heart, I invite you to hold on to that hope in your own journey. And if you know someone who's struggling, share this video with them. Might just be the reminder they need tonight. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this, and let me know in the comments. What does hope mean to you? Thank you for listening. And remember, night lasts forever. Dawn will find you.